Okay, Assalamualaikum. Hello to all the teachers who are here today. Welcome to From the Classroom to Home-Based Learning webinar, session number 3. I am Cikgu AMADIFILZAH binti ABINDI from SMK Section 4 Bandar Kinrara as the moderator. I hope that all of you are ready for today's session and take this opportunity to gain knowledge and learn something new from our special speaker. We are broadcasting live from two channels, and one of the channels is Unit Bahasa PPD Petaling Perdana official channel. So please support the channel by clicking the subscribe button now. You may also share this live stream link to other teachers so that they can also benefit from the content of today's session. So before we begin, I have a few reminders to the viewers. First, if you have any questions regarding the topic of today's session, do not hesitate to type your questions at the chat box. Second reminder is regarding the attendance link, e-certificate, and SPL KPM links all together. The links will be given by the end of our session. And please remember to key in a valid email address and your particulars. And do double check your particulars when you key in the link. And remember to fill in the form within the time limit, which is 30 minutes after the live stream ends. All right, viewers, we are so lucky to gain knowledge from the experts. Let me introduce the presenter for today's sharing session on the topic of hot questions and responses. And we have in the studio Puan Nurlina binti Abdullah, School Improvement Specialist Coach SISC Plus Bahasa from PPD Petaling Perdana. Assalamualaikum Puan.
Waalaikumsalam. How are
All
you?
right.
Thanks,
Okay,
somebody.
Puan. Thank you for being with us, Puan. All right. So, without further delay, let's welcome our presenter for today, Puan Nurlina. To you, Puan Nurlina.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar from the classroom to the home-based learning. And today's topic is HOTS. Okay, HOTS, and I'll be presenting the screen. HOTS questions and responses. So I'm Nolina, and feel free to ask questions. Welcome everybody from all over the country, I hope, and especially my teachers in Petaling Perdana. Okay. Uh, Greetings and thank you for spending an hour with us. And without much further ado, allow me to proceed with the content of the questions. And feel free to ask questions in the chat. And our moderator, Puan Amadi, will inform me if I overlook the questions. Okay. Why HOTS questions and responses? So in Malay will be KIBAT. All right. Kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi. And why do we want to go into that? And the responses, how do we get students to respond to us when we ask questions? How do we get students to respond to us in the classroom as well as online in our PDPR time or during our home-based learning? Okay. So by the end of the session, I hope that the audience today will be able to state the importance of the questioning techniques and the tips that you and the strategies that you will be able to apply in your classes. I'll be presenting to you many strategies. I hope you can get some and share it. As usual, this is a recorded session, so please do review it again. And I hope I'm able to help you from my experience as a KBAT Jurulate as well as an I think Jurulate. So for this is only the beginning of many, many more sessions to come. Okay, in the process of upgrading our our teaching techniques, as well as in the process of upgrading our students' performance in their thinking skills. All right. Okay. So the first thing that we will be covering will be why and when and how do we ask questions. The second thing will be the type of questions and levels of questions that we can ask. And thirdly, I'll be covering some effective questioning techniques and strategies. Okay, so teachers, um, in the conclusion, you find out why we all need all these things. Okay, so why and when and who do we ask questions to? Firstly, why do we ask questions? Okay, we ask questions to get the interest of the students. It's not a one track. Questions will it's a it will create a ripple of responses. The right questions. The right questions will create thinking. Will create responses, arguments. That's what we want in our class. Active thinkers, active learners. Okay. Secondly, by asking the right questions, we will know whether how much have our students um, gathered from our teaching, how much have they understood from our teaching. So if you don't ask questions, you won't be able to gauge. Questions are not the end of the day quiz. Questions here are not talking about the tests. The questions here are the questions that we ask during our lessons. Firstly, we also ask questions to improve recall. So questions sometimes repeat um, contents, but we rephrase it. Questions also keep the learner engaged. It's not like the teacher's going to talk all the way. Okay, engaged. That means you're going to ask another question. So far, okay? Are you okay so far, ladies and gentlemen? Good afternoon, Miss Siabilun. Are you okay, Melody? Hi, Melody. Okay, are you okay now so far? Ask questions. Ask questions in class.
Nurlina,
Yeah.
are you sharing the slides already?
Oh dear. How dear. I am presenting. Okay,
It's
I am
okay,
not
it's okay.
sharing here.
Hmm.
Darlings, I'm like nervous gila, okay? Because this is like a 1 hour on my own online on air, darlings. I'll start all over again. What a joke. It's okay.
It's okay, Pan.
Number one, you heard me very well, right? So the questions and the responses. If there's a question and there's no response, there's no need to ask questions then. All right, we need responses. So you need to ask the right type of question, the right level of questions if you want certain responses. Okay, so we're going to go through when, how, where, why, and then we're going to go through the types of questions, and we're going to go through the strategies. Okay, all right. So firstly, like I said earlier, it reveals the interest of the students. When we talk about questions here, we're not talking about the teacher asking questions only. We're also talking about students asking us questions. So if the more they ask us, the more interested they are in what we are teaching. Teachers, cikgu-cikgu, ini bukan untuk hanya bahasa Inggeris. So please share with your other subjects as well. Okay? All right. So secondly is also to get the gap between the. Are you all seeing the slides? I can only see myself on the screen, I'm afraid.
Not yet, Puan, not yet.
Okay.
Hmm.
What am I happening? What's happening?
Okay.
What's
Okay, at your
happening?
laptop, you need to click the share button again. Escape first.
Window, Chrome.
Um,
Window.
window.
Yeah, got it. Window. Mm-mm-mm.
It's there. Okay. All right. Now we can see the slides.
I can't see the slides on the screen.
It's there.
Is my slide showing, darling?
Yes, it's on the screen, Puan.
It's on the screen. Okay, or
Mm-mm.
maybe it's lagging. Okay, now I see the screen. Thank you,
All
darling.
right.
So we improve the recall by repeat asking questions. And by the questions don't come at the end of the lesson. The questions come in between as you go along. So it keeps the learners engaged and attentive. So when you develop your activities, you develop together with the questions. So for young teachers, new teachers, you might not be able to have the skill yet. So you need to prepare the questions, prepare a little bit to build the knowledge. So when you look at your RPH, when you look at your teaching, your lesson plans, you will know the development of your lesson and at what stage you need to ask something. So when you ask questions, you are developing thinking. So when you're developing thinking, you might actually the students might actually gain new knowledge in the discussions, because questions will lead to discussions as well. Not one question or one answer. When you're talking about questions, you're talking about open questions. Apologize for my neighbor's dog. Timing is very bad for it to start barking. So what are the rules of a good questioning technique? First, you plan. There's no such thing as unless you're a very experienced teacher, you probably know your content very well, and you know how to trigger the discussion, you know how to trigger the thinking. Questions should not be too long-winded. In your opinion, what do you think? If we were to happen this, not the story goes on and on, then only the question comes in. It's going to create a lot of um, questions, no, misunderstanding and boredom among the students. Go straight to the point. But there must be a scope of questions that you ask. Don't ask too many questions. Too many questions and one after another. It creates a little bit of anxiety. So there's a scope that you want to cover for that day, for that group discussion. Differentiated would mean the language that you're using. Simple language for the simpler um, minded students. Don't create questions based on the pedagogical language that we have in our teaching profession. It's going to be very difficult for the young standard one kid, year one kids to understand. But you can actually ask questions, high order questions to year one kids, to year two kids. You will see it later. Okay. And you direct the questions first to the whole class. Don't call the student. These are the old tips. Huh? Don't call the student first, then you ask a question. No. You direct the whole class, then you don't call the student yet. You give them time to think, you wait for the answer. Then you call. Let them think, let them call. So there's such a thing called don't answer until I call you. Because it will interrupt um it will not allow the other students who are slower to think. So there's a little bit of class control here when you ask questions. Okay? But time is very important. I was having a session earlier, and most teachers forgot about the word time. Time to wait. How long do you think, teachers, is the best amount of time for after a question for the students to think? Can you respond in the chat? How long do you think is the appropriate time? I'm asking a question now. Is there a response in the chat, Amadi?
Okay, still waiting for the response.
How long do you have to wait? 2
There is
minutes.
a
2 minutes.
slight delay. Zoe.
A very long
From
time,
teacher Zoe, 2 minutes. From teacher Miza Shahira, 30
So
seconds.
15 counts. Lovely. Shuling, 15 counts. Yeah. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Do you have an answer for me? 2 minutes is too bit too long. Maybe 2 minutes will be a discussion period already. Okay. If the question requires a lot of discussion, but we're talking about this simple short questions, open-ended questions that has no one fixed answer. Okay. For example, what is the biggest problem that you have? What are the problems that you face when you ask questions in your class? What are the problems that you face, teachers, when you ask questions in your class?
Okay, we have a response here from teacher Zoe, slow learners. Then, haha.
No, no.
And then
Okay.
teacher
Yeah,
Catherine,
understand. So, for
Madam Catherine.
example, no response, right? No
Hmm.
response. No
Yeah.
response. So, no response. Like now, no response. That means we got to ask another question. So, what do you think? Rephrase the question. Rephrase the question. So, teachers, do you face a problem when you are asking questions in class? What are the problems that you face? Or the situation when you ask questions in class? What happens? They understand, but they're not speak up. Wow. Okay. No response. Oh, total silence. Okay. So you need to trigger some more. You need to trigger some more. Some more. Good, good, good. Give more clues. Good, 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 good. So I am not interrupting your responses. Refrain from interrupting. That means once there's a response, I come in. The answer BM, no problem. What do you want? BM or no answer? Better, which is better, right? Okay. So response respond to their response. Then you will see that it will continue. But of course, you must learn some control so that it doesn't go all out of topic and everything. Maintain your neutrality. What does that mean? Maintain neutral. Don't take sides. That means you agree or you disagree. You don't agree, you don't disagree because you want them to respond. So you have to maintain neutral. No favoritism, nothing. Use their language. So reduce it a little bit because what's important is the thinking. What's important is the response. Now, later when they answer into the question paper, then they have to write. We're talking about English. Let's say we're talking about science and geography and history. They need to think before they can write. So they need to respond before they can write. So let's let them come up with the answer. Stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. That is why sometimes I always have slides and I always have some kind of guide with me when I'm talking to people. So like when you're teaching, there's always a guide. Stay focused. Watch your tone. So, apa jawapan sekarang? Apa pendapat anda? Oh my God, I wouldn't want to answer. What if my answer is wrong? What if the teacher scolds me? So, what's your turn? So, I always ask with a very, you know, neutral tone and friendly tone. So, what do you think? I see some responses here. What do you think, Mr. Allison? um, Alison has responded inferiority. So, can you explain, Alison? What do you mean by inferiority? There's no right, there's no wrong. The tone, come, there's no right answer yet. There's no wrong answer here because this is an open-ended question. These are high-order questions. The best thing about HOTS or KBAT questions is there's nothing right or wrong. So when students, I'm doing this session myself and all that because we keep getting responses from during our dialogues, prestasi and all that. Soalan kebat susah nak dijawab. Murid-murid tak biasa dengan soalan kebat. Murid-murid tak jawab soalan kebat. That kind of answer. So why? Why? Okay. So we'll come to the shy part. We'll come to the inferiority part. Because you see activities that allow them to have to answer. Once you have to answer, you get used to answering. Okay. All right. In the slide or in the screen, you can see a link. You just key in teknik penyawalan kebat. Okay, teknik penyawalan kebat is a very old 2013 slide, but it's a complete slide. What I'm presenting to you is a mixture of many documents. All right. But under the teknik penyaluran kebat, go back to that one. The first time we did long time ago, it was prepared by a team of us. Us meaning I'm also part of that team to prepare a very comprehensive guide on teknik penyaluran sahaja. 56 slides. Okay, very detailed, very comprehensive. Good for all subjects. Good for all subjects. I repeat. So I do ask you to ask your friends and your teachers to watch this channel. Okay. Next, so that it comes the Malay part. All right. So waiting time. Teachers must always learn to be very, very. What's the word? Cikgu, and coaches and teachers and SISCs, we are very fast with our mouth. Tanya sendiri jawab. Tanya sendiri jawab. Isn't that what's happening most of the time? So what is the most important thing the teacher must have? One, two, three, four. Character, in your character. Teacher. The teachers, cikgu-cikgu mesti macam mana? Patient, yeah. Don't answer yet. Sabar. We ourselves must start counting to 15. Smile. Yeah. Ali, okay. Thinking. Good. Give them peningkatan dalam jumlah soalan murid. So, we when we have enough time for our students, more students will answer. Okay. More time for them to think, the more complete the answers will be. If they cannot think alone, let them think in pairs. Let somebody continue the answer. Then you have two answers, two longer answers. And then they have more time to speculate. They have more time to think of possibilities. Even if they have to refer, they have more time to refer. So the wait time depends on what questions you're asking. 5 to 10 seconds, the lowest, the shortest. For the teacher, what is the impact of waiting? What does it do to the teacher? What does it do for the teacher? Encourage the students not to be shy. Yeah. But we have to encourage play with them. Asking questions, there are lots of games to do that. Let it be fun. But teachers, what is the impact on you when you wait for your students to answer your questions? I'm not talking about the testing question again. I'm not talking about the end of the lesson quiz. I'm talking about now, like now. What does it make you do? What does it allow it to happen? Yeah, give opportunities to students and also time for you to do what? I'm doing my hands like that. Time for you to? The moment I press my next slide, you will see the answers. I'm not good at producing one by one. I've lost track of doing that kind of slide, all the animation. Okay, guru mempunyai lebih banyak masa mendengar dan berfikir tentang jawapan murid. You're waiting, but you're also listening. Answer. Okay, good. Don't give the answer immediately. All right, what do you think? Ask another student. Jangkaan murid terhadap guru terhadap jawapan murid berubah. I never expected them to say that. You expected an answer, but you didn't expect that answer, and that answer is a possible answer. You remember, KBAT questions are open-ended, any possible answer. Guru menggunakan berbagai teknik. If this doesn't work, okay, no responses so far. Now I got to ask another strategy. Call the name. Okay? So, in your classroom, if you allow them to think, it will be very conducive. That means there'll be less fear. Think of alternative. That's right, Zulaiha. Think of an alternative. When I'm looking down, looking at my handphone, have more people to try the answer. Good. I just wish one day, like Alison says, they Google the answer. I just wish one day, I actually suggested to some schools, on certain days that you want them to do research thinking, especially now with the Perkasa Ku, when you're talking about advancement pengayaan, you're talking about activity pengayaan, you're talking about research project based and all that, and in the lesson, and when the form 5s are written, if handphones are allowed, can you imagine how much they can do when they're exploring, when to one question they explore? Okay, so that kind of situation in class, a teacher should not immediately say, no, your answer is wrong. I've taught you before. How come you cannot remember? Kan dah ajar dah dulu. Tak ingat lagi ke? Ini bab yang seminggu lepas moderator. That kind of statement will reduce the the responses, will create anxiety, will bring the filter up. So how you respond, how you react is very important to the answers. That's why today's topic is questions and responses. Okay? Don't immediately say correct. Next question. Correct. Next question. No, just like no chance, no, for other people to think. All right. Okay. We've covered the first part. That is why and how. So, any questions from you guys? I use role play in group 16K heads, and really, yeah, those are the strategies. I did not touching 16K heads today, Azian. Not enough time. So it's already 2:26. Okay, so levels of questions. Closed questions are very brief answers. That one you ask also, just to to make sure that they're following your teaching. So when talking about physics and chemistry and science, they know the formula, they know the chemical. Okay, but open questions require longer responses. That means they have to give reasons, they have to give more information. For example, where would you like to go for your holiday? Then you say Langkawi. But if the question becomes, where would you like to go for your holiday? And can you explain why? Or who will you be going with? Give me more information. Then you start talking about the plans for the holiday. Open answers. There's no fixed answer. Open questions. Leading questions will bring you to the next part of the lesson. Like for today, my topic is types of questions. So teachers, why is it important for you to ask the right question to the next part of your lesson? You're teaching a topic like home. Okay, then you talk about overall of the home first. But the next part of the question is, where would you want your home to be? And after the where, when are you going to start planning your home, developing your home? How you're bringing them to the final product where they actually plan an entire home for the future that they want. So you start with where, then next question when, so that they are brought bit by bit. That is why the first thing I said is, when you're planning your lessons, you don't jump all over. So the questions will bring to another part of your lesson. The probing question is good. For example, um, what do you think about the government opening um, the what's it called, sempadan, or the borders, um, to all residents, all citizens of Malaysia in now in our situation with the number of COVID cases have reduced? What do you think? Then what do you think? What do you think about opening the border to all so that we can cross borders, cross states? Do you agree? Do you agree that it should be open immediate as soon as possible, with our cases below 10,000 already? But in every country, do you think we should be easily allowed to cross over to another state? To increase the economy, well, yeah, it's affecting the economy. Yeah? In what other way is it affecting? It should increase also the economy. What else do you think? It's important that we open the borders as soon as possible. This is just a fun conversation. I don't go and quote me in the why. If it says increase the economy, what else do you think? We're gonna go deeper, deeper. What kind of economy are you talking about, Shahida? What kind of economy are we talking about? Sales, tourism. Um, can you explain a little bit? Can you give some examples, boys and girls? Somebody else gives examples. Somebody else can respond. Probing. I'm probing them now, but I'm not probing to one student. Okay, tourism. In what way? Tourism can help besides economy. Besides economy, how does tourism help us, citizens of Malaysia? Oh, you disagree? Okay, very good. Why do you disagree? So the discussions goes on. You probe. You take from the student's question and you go deeper. I was hoping for an answer like, I need a break. Everybody needs a break. So tourism is good for the economy, but it's also good for us mentally and psychologically. I'm thinking which hotel am I going to go after this. I love it when the hotels are open. So it's like it allows me to de-stress, allows me to get out of the mundane lifestyle we're having now at home and all that kind of thing. So it allows us to have a restaurant. But what are the criteria? What do you need to do as a citizen of the country? What do you need to do to ensure that this tourism, this border opening of the borders and everything. What do you need to do as a citizen of of this country? So if there are questions that are going to go deeper and develop it further. What if essential questions are lovely. What if the numbers rise up again? In your if you are a hotel, uh, no, if you run a restaurant, what are the steps that you should do? You should take questions that make you go further and deeper. There are lots of questions that the level. So remember, teachers, if you ask what, who, where, what, when, why sahaja, it will be only the facts, remembering, and then understanding. So you're going to go up to applying. When you talk about applying, you're talking about how it affects, how you're going to use that information in another situation or in your daily life. And when you talk about analyzing, you're talking about comparing and contrasting a particular situation or a particular decision. Evaluate, you're talking about whether it's right or wrong. What's your opinion about it? And create is talking about giving another situation, giving another a change. So it's very interesting when you can ask the right kind of question. So this is the one from the technique penyoalan kebat. Okay, and this is only one page out of many pages. So when you talk about the complete, count, define, those are the basic facts, lowest level of thinking. The second level of thinking goes to when you are compiling your facts and you have to analyze it, you have to compare it, you have to generalize it. Then that is second level, where you compare, contrast, classify, you distinguish the difference, you explain. That's second level. The third level is the highest level, where you use a little bit of your imagination, when you do a little bit of changes. It can go out of the box, it can come from any angle, and it tells you to predict, it tells you to judge. So do you think it is a problem to be fat? You know, that kind of question. Imagine, fat, body shaming. So what if a person is fat? So what if a person is not beautiful? What do you think about the effect of the society on the human mentality about beauty? It also creates a lot of a ripple, a lot of stress and argument. What if you are born not beautiful, hypothesize? This is a topic where I give very general topics, because we can cover any kind of what if questions in hypothesizing, in judging, in predicting. If you would, okay, one, the more we ask, the better the understanding would be. Don't ask too much questions. Just remember to stay focused. Remember, we're leading them towards the end product of our lesson. The end product, not we ask. Sometimes the questions they will ask back, if they disagree with you, for example, my statement just now, so what if we are fat? What's wrong about being fat? What's your opinion? Oh gosh. Any responses? Because I'm on a little bit on the heavy side and not so. Why is it everybody talking about beauty and fat and slim, and then let's bring the argument in. You will find that it will probably lead to health, it will probably lead to confidence. So this is our topic of today, healthy lifestyle. You know what I mean? So it leads towards that. But and then you have to design a lifestyle. You have to design something. Then you have to create, you have to advise somebody. That would be high level already. Okay? So your questions will lead to the thinking. So question stems are keywords. For example, which is the most, which is the least that you among the choice that you do not like? Explain your choice. They have to make a decision. They have to evaluate. I want carrots, carrot juice, watermelon juice, coffee, milk. What's the best choice of your drinks? Teacher, I don't like coffee. They made a choice already. But explain your choice. Coffee is not good. I mean, I'm too young. I'm only a little girl. I'm only senate. I prefer to drink not carrot or watermelon, teacher. I don't like what carrot or watermelon. They are making decisions, they are making choices. Your question can have many answers to one question from different students. What are the details that are the most outstanding in this handbag? You're teaching, or maybe you're teaching cars. What are the details that are most outstanding in this car? Or the lights? Why? It has a special design. The car seat, the door, the color. Analyze. They're comparing already between two cars. They're comparing that what's important. How could you change? How could you make it different? What would you have done? What would you do if you are a what? Why? So imagine the students have to. The answer cannot come up very fast, no. So they're probably given time to think. Why? Why? Sometimes the teachers should also write the question on the board. So if you are doing PDPR, type the question onto the screen. Let them ponder for a while, even if they have to start asking their mother, father around them, because questions will make them think. Remember, it's a hot session, so we want them to think. The T stands for thinking skills. So, what's the difference between a cat and a dog? Very simple question, right? What's the difference between a cat and a dog? Can somebody answer that? What's the difference between a cat and a dog? That's why in I think maps, they have similarity and differences. The double bubble map. The similarity between a cat and a dog and the differences. Let's talk about the differences between a cat and a dog. No answer. Wait time. Their sound. Okay. What is it? What sound? What sound? What does a cat do? What does a dog do? What sound? They don't get along. Okay, they don't get along. Cats and dogs fight. Are you sure? I've seen a lot of cats and dogs really good with each other. Okay, but okay, I'm supposed to be neutral. Okay, all right. They don't get along sometimes, and which is more fearful of which? Okay, and then you can $1 Good, very good, Rajendra. So I don't get one answer from one student. The answer goes to another student from another student. One student says something, another student says something. Imagine the responses that you are getting. So the teacher has to be very patient. Don't immediately jump to the correct answer, accept and praise that student so fast. Then after the end of the day, you praise all of them. Lovely Rajendra, lovely Revati, lovely. Oh yeah, betul. Okay, soon. All right, good. So how is this related to life? How is this cats and dog differences related to humans? Something like that lah. Huh? We talk different languages. We don't get along, but sometimes do get along. So how do we get along? We put the two of them together. We let them stay together. If they don't get along, they have to stay together. The cat and the dog. At the end of the day, they have to get along. Can we do that? Okay, think about it. Something now. How's this related to what? Describe a situation where you can do this. Describe how will you change the situation. These are the question stamps. And if you look further down on the screen, I had 28 critical thinking question stamps. The link is there. I will be sharing this. You can get the slides when you go to the channel. So you can, I only listed 10. There are 28 stamps. Remember, this is not only for English. So kalau bahasa Melayu, sekiranya bagaimana, apakah akan berlaku jika, that kind of thing, they'll start thinking. And I tell you, it applies to all topics that we teach, all subjects that we teach, this kind of questions. We do not want people who just memorize the facts and information and understand the facts and information, and yet they cannot apply it in their life, or they cannot adjust. Thinking is not just for intelligence. Thinking is also for survival. Thinking is also for adapting. So if you can't think fast and on time, you can adapt, you can react well, correctly, there's going to be a problem. So remember, teachers, when we are teaching, we are not just teaching for passing A, getting TP6 for the PBD, no. But when you do all this, you will get TP6. Okay? So this is the part of the text. Forget it. These are keywords. Mempertimbangkan, menentukan, mengaplikasikan, jika, maka, higher level. The process, banding, beza, terangkan, mengapa. Okay? The lower process is the fakta, kumpul-kumpul, pilih-pilih, label-label. Those are the lower part. But you still need the input before you can go to the aras 2 and aras 3. Okay. So now we are coming to the strategies. Teachers, there's a beautiful reference that I refer to. So when you cannot remember the link, you just key in effective questions and classroom talks. The title, the heading is in green. Okay, so as you can see just now, like Izian says, 6 thinking hats. It's a strategy for you to think. But okay, for example, black is for problems. So when you're asking questions related to problems, red is for emotions. So you're asking questions about emotions, how they feel about it, what do they think about this feeling, the reaction to it. Green is something creative, blue is something bureaucracy, the process, white is the other facts, and yellow is the benefits. So you can ask what are the benefits of this. So by using the 6 thinking hats, you also have 6 types of questions in your head already as teachers and as students. So when you want students to ask questions back to the teacher, cikgu, apakah faedah dia? They know they're using the, apakah masalahnya cikgu kalau sekiranya berlaku ni? They are using the 6 colors to generate questions. All right? 5WH, no hands questions, scamper, and the ball bouncing around. Okay, hold on. Next one. You will see what I mean. Okay, so these are the strategies that you need to, that it can help you. Rule time, thinking time. Okay, we've done that. It allows more time to think. No hands rule. No hands rule means we don't put out your hands. Why? We don't want. Why do we want no hands rule? No hands rule. No hands rule. Teacher. No hands rule. Teacher. No hands rule. And that's okay. Times. All right. Who wants hands up? Okay. You give them time, then the hands come up. Same goes to on Google Classroom, Google Meet. You give them okay. Hands up for those who can answer, who want to answer. Then we don't call those who put out their hands. We call them occasionally, and we call those who don't put out their hands. Select later. No hands rule means no hands earlier. No shouting out answers. Time out. You give them time to discuss. You give them time to decide. Then only you say, okay, time out. This one is a longer time for them to collaborate. So now with all the breakout rooms, you can do that. Let them have time. Phone a friend. There are many students who can't answer, right? Shy, the one you call, the one answer. Allow them to ask for assistance from another friend. You say, okay, Cheng, can you help me? Please, teacher, can I ask Cheng to help? This is online. Teacher, can I ask Cheng to help? Amadi, can you help me? Then Amadi will answer. So imagine that is already engaging students. There's already interaction in class. Online. They cannot answer, don't scold them yet. Don't jump to another student. Let them select their own friend. Another strategy to get more people to ask or to answer. Hot seat is a very popular activity, BK 21 activity, 21st century activity. A student is selected to answer the questions from their fellow students or teachers. So she's a smart one in a hot seat. For example, I'm going to do chef. I'm going to be a chef. And the title, the standard one, lunchtime. Okay, you're the chef of the restaurant, and this is lunch time. So ask questions. Students can ask questions to the chef. So what questions will you ask the chef? Imagine you're all year one students. What will you ask? I'm the chef, huh? I'm the chef. I'm a standard one girl also. Hello, I'm Chef NURLINA. Welcome to my restaurant. Any questions from my audience? Wait time. So wait. Okay. No questions so far. What? What's any questions from your? Okay. One of the things I always tell my teachers as a coach. If the students don't know what questions to ask, give them the questions, but let them ask the questions. That means you already selected Ali, you ask this, Siti, you ask that, and then Ani, you ask that. The fear of asking question is another issue. So let them have the question, not just the fear of thinking of what question to ask, but don't know how don't, to come up with the words in their mouth. So you let them have the words, then they say, Chef NURLINA, what can you cook? They're reading, but that one already one step up already. Then they'll be happy. Then all start clapping. Question asked already. Okay, so Chef NURLINA, I can cook sandwiches. I only said one. Okay, next question. Talk about the sandwiches. Teach them to talk about the sandwiches. So, another question. How do you cook? How do you, what are you making? How do you make the sandwiches? Uh, how do you make the sandwiches? How do you make this? How do you make that? If I answer, how do you make fried chicken? How do you make this? So, how do you make this? How do you cook that? They have the question stamps. Give it to them. Give it to them. The younger kids, the weaker kids, let them have the stamps. Let them ask the questions. You keep very quiet. Let them interact. Don't interrupt. Preview. Put the question up. Let them see. Let them think. Let them ponder. If the question has pictures, better for the to display. All right. You sell burger. That's my favorite. Do you sell burger? No, 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 no. I don't sell burger. Who likes to eat burger? If they don't know how to ask questions, let them use the 5WH. Who likes to eat burger? What you put in the burger? When is the best time to eat burger? They only use a 5WH now. How do you make burger? Where can you buy burger? What are the famous burger outlets that you know? Who, what, where, what, when, why? They will create the students easily to ask questions. The 5WH goes also towards these are strategies to let them ask questions using the 5WH. Fat questions. I ask you, you must answer in more than 10 words. Okay, that means what is your favorite food and why? What can you see in a burger? What's your favorite food and why? You must answer in more than 10, That means they have to start thinking already. Oh, I like to eat. I like burger. I like to eat burger because it is simple and delicious. You want it more challenging, you make it 20 words. So they will start, they learn to answer, and they know they have to add information. They have to add reasoning. So they are respond. Remember my session today is questions and responses. So fact questions allow better responses. If they are afraid to answer alone, allow them to discuss with their friends. If you are doing face to face, if you are doing, even though you are online, let them chit chat the answer with their friends. Let them add on. Then they turn. Oh, sorry for the spelling error, pupils. Okay, pause, pounce, and bounce. I like that. I do that all the time when I'm with my teachers or with my students. I ask the questions and I wait. Then I call the person. and then bounce is going to another person, unexpected, because they don't expect one person to answer one question only. There will be another question to answer the same question, or another person to respond to that person's answer. That means if somebody says, I don't like this, and the other person has to say what does he think about that person's answer. So it's like a continuity. It's like, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. So what are you going to do after this session, after this webinar? And Amadi's answer. Okay, what are you going to do after this webinar? What's the first thing that you would do after this webinar? And then somebody answers. No answer yet so far. Uma, Rani, what we can do? We'll develop it. Okay, what will you do after this webinar? Umarani, hi Umarani. What will you do after this webinar? Select a response. I don't see any response. May I know if this YouTube for students or teachers? Both ways. Both ways. Emily's question says for students or teachers, both ways. If the students know what the teacher is doing, or the students know how to ask questions, and the students know how to think, they can use this YouTube. They can learn how to think. If the teachers know how to ask questions, the student teachers know how to teach, know how to wait and all that, and know how to develop, the students will benefit, the teachers will benefit. So learning and is not divided. It's not top secret. Okay, to me, it's not secret. Whatever I know is to be shared. Whatever you know, every student should know. The marking scheme, everything they should know. All right. So engagement. When you bounce, 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 and bounce and bounce and bounce, there'll be more engagement involved. So deal is a very simple way of thinking. Okay. Remember, this is a hot session. So thinking session. So you're in a response. So describe. So what is your favorite food again? Huh? So describe. What is your favorite food? My favorite food is char kway teow. If you're online, char kway teow. Explain. Because it is simple. It's Chinese. It reminds me of my hometown, Penang. Okay, analyze. I don't really like the Thai way of cooking kway teow, which is soggy. So the Chinese char kway teow is dry and tasty, and the other one is soggy. I don't really like soggy kway teow. Rice noodles, is it called kway teows? Okay, linking. So I'm linking it to something. So I will link it to my childhood girl. I'll link it to my experience. So, but the char kway teow in Kuala Lumpur is different from the ones in Penang. When I was in Penang, it's quite difficult to find the crunchy toges and all that. So the way you deal, your answer becomes complete. So it's not like, what's your favorite food? Char kway teow. It's like it has to explain and then analyze. You compare, explain a little bit more, and then you try to link it to something. Link it to the past, link it to the present, link it to the future, link it to the price, link it to the daily life. Okay, that is deal. So there are many other strategies, like you can see here, scamper, COTS, and all that. I like COTS also. Consider all factors in thinking skills. So go to the effective questions and classroom talks. There are 28 pages of materials. So the final one is this: the characteristics needed in a thinking classroom. So teachers, remember the classroom rules of classroom talk. Take respect, no, you ask, give them time and all that kind of thing. Questions must be simple, no, not too long, too wordy, not too many. Weigh the value and differences and points. So in a classroom, in a thinking room, there are differences in values and viewpoints. And then respect each other's views and ideas. Don't criticize, don't, no. So respect. Same goes to the teacher. The teacher must respect the opinion of any other race or religion. And then we also guide them. if they are a little bit off track. That's our job, as our duty, responsibility as teachers. Test the ideas subject to scrutiny. So allow a little bit of argument there, a lot of looking into the depth of it. Thinking time. Consider all ideas, ask any new questions. Allow the freedom in your class. Never put down or intimidate anyone. Listen and build their ideas. So these are the things that need to be developed in us to allow discussions, to allow development of thinking. So when we talk about high order thinking skills and we talk about responses from students, and you're talking about to how does this apply to your PDPR, how does this apply to your PDP, when you are talking about your scoring, the hardest one is always 4.4.1, where it carries 25% of your scores. I think so. And mengajukan soalan. Murid mengajukan soalan. Mendorong minda murid mengajukan soalan. Bukan mendorong guru yang mengajukan, murid yang mengajukan. So community mengemukakan soalan. Mengajukan soalan situasi, membuat keputusan. So when you're doing evaluation, you're doing prioritizing, it's all membuat keputusan. Memberi peluang untuk memimpin. So you have discussions, that's already memimpin. Mengalahkan murid mengemukakan soalan. So when you teach them the question stamps, they will also ask you. Have the freedom in your classroom. Don't say quiet. Don't let me finish first. No. Allow them to interrupt you. Okay. Yay, questioning opener, eye opener questions. Okay. Menggalakkan murid memperoleh pengetahuan secara kendiri. Allow them. Are you sure? Okay. What do you think? Can you find out a little bit more about that before we continue discussions tomorrow? Discussing about it tomorrow. Allow them to go and explore on their own. Create the inquisitiveness in them. Cikgu-cikgu, ingin tahu. Jangan selalu sumbat, suap. 4.6, when you do all that, automatically this part, they will be active. They will be giving you responses. They will be communicating. They will be thinking creatively. If your questions are not creative, how can they think creatively? If your questions are not challenging, how can they give you responses that are challenging? So remember, your questions need to be planned well. Mengemukakan soalan isi kandungan, mengaitkan isi kandungan dengan isu global and local. So a little bit of planning, a little bit of homework, what's happening around us. And don't be surprised, do not underestimate your students. Jangan ingat mereka kanak-kanak, mereka tak tahu. Mereka tahu. Mereka ada ibu bapa di rumah, mereka baca berita, mereka tengok TV, mereka tengok TikTok. Okay? And then aktiviti penyelesaian masalah. So soalan tu sudah menjadi aktiviti dalam pembelajaran anda. Okay? Alright. Thank you very much. So remember your characters in your class, the strategies that you can apply. If you find this enough, good enough, you find not enough, go to this effective questions and classroom talks. There's things on a lot of other things. Maybe we'll do another session on those strategies. Remember the stamps that you need. You teach them the stamps so that if they're not used to it, they get used to it. This is not for you only. This is also for students to ask to prepare themselves. And then you have the levels and the types of questions, the waiting time for teachers, and the benefits of the waiting time for the students, and the rules in planning your questions, and also why do we need to ask those questions, important questions, high order questions. So I hope I've achieved my objective, that is asking the right questions during the lesson. And thank you very much. All right, over to you, Amadi. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Okay, dear teachers, if you have any questions to ask to our Puan Nurlina, okay, you may type it at the comment section. Thank you very much for the sharing, yeah, Puan. Okay, so
Welcome.
far we don't have any question, I think. Okay, maybe we wait
Okay, one
for
of my
another
strategies
2 minutes.
for asking questions is, and the first person to ask questions will receive a prize.
Wow.
So you have to, any question? Let's see. I don't want thank you. I want questions. Then you will get the prize, and you can contact Amadi and myself on the Facebook or in the anywhere. And if you are from my Facebook link, one question will do before you can leave. I can't stop that in reality, but you can do that in the class. I always ask for questions or responses. Any question about how your problems, your situation in class? Hmm. What? Okay. Then I ask you a question. What do you learn? What? Give me one item that you learned today. One only that you would do in class when you go back to class in your PDPL. Give me one. The first person to respond. What will you do from what I shared today that you would change and you would do in your class? Hmm. Berani, 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 berani. Jawab, 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 jawab.
Maybe they're still
Ada,
typing.
ada orang typing, typing. The first to go in. The first to type.
We have one.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
go.
Yeah.
Okay,
From
Revati,
Revati.
send contact us, Revati. Revati, you learn to give pupils time to think. Yeah, good. Oh, Amuna Anurata, I know. SMK Castlefeel. Revati also Castlefeel. Tevi also the hot seat strategy. Okay, you this will be the ones who I can contact. Simple questions towards the questions. Take thinking heads. Revati, lovely. I've got my winners. So we will keep in touch. Contact me. You all have my phone number. So okay, thank you, Amadi. I've already got my winners, and over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, dear viewers, we have completed today's session. So, congratulations to those who are able to follow our 1 hour session till the end. Thank you very much to Puan Nurlina, SIC Plus Bahasa, Sektor Pembelajaran, PPD Petaling Perdana. We have shared with you the attendance link at the live chat. And remember to click the subscribe and the bell button if you haven't done it earlier. Do support us so that we can create more beneficial contents on our channels. Okay, and once again I would like to remind you that the link will only be active for 30 minutes only after we end our live stream. I think, yeah, that's all for now. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. Puan Nurlina, do you have anything to say?
Do you want to extend it to a little bit later for the other people who are watching? Maybe a little bit later. We
Okay,
can
sure,
extend
Puan. All right,
up,
sure,
up in the
can.
evening, lah. We stop it in the evening about 6 o'clock.
All
Let
right.
them watch it. So inform your friends and your colleagues. They can watch. They can view. Please do share and like the Unit Bahasa channel,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see you all around in the next webinar. Do
Okay.
also tell us what you want in your chat here. What you need for your next sessions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very mumuch. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe.
Okay. Our next session will be maybe tentatively on 23rd of October, 23rd of October, same time, same YouTube channel. Do join us, yeah? So
We are
I think,
looking at
yeah.
PBD, I think, because towards
PBD.
the Perkasa ko, the ending of that time, November, we are going to look at high end PBD, how to upgrade the students, how to remedial, give them remedial and all that. So we'll be looking at that. So thank you. Hopefully we will be able to assist all of you in our webinar, for home-based learning as well as our face-to-face. So all the best to all of you going back to school soon. So let's all enjoy our weekend today, and see you guys. Bye.
Okay, bye everyone. Bye. Thank you.